They'll go ahead and leave it.
Do you know whose phone rang? Okay. When he left, did he leave with Barter?
Yes.
Did he ever make it back home?
No.
Did you at some point learn about his death?
Yes.
All right. Permission to approach your honor? I'm going to show you what's been marked as Stacy Exhibit 123 BV. Do you recognize the individual 123 BV?
Yes.
How do you recognize him?
That's Shamel.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of how Shamel looks prior to his death?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 123 BV into evidence.
Senator.
Permission.
You may.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Harmful chemicals, scale buildup, and more. Plus, they can be installed in.
State your first and last name. Spell your first and last name to the mic.
Phil Norton, Pilnorton.
Good morning, Mr. Norton. How are you?
Good.
Good. Mr. Norton, would you tell the jury, are you a gun owner?
Yes,
How long have you owned guns, firearms?
my entire life.
What type of guns have you owned throughout your lifetime?
Couldn't tell you.
Have you ever owned a Glock 9mm weapon?
Yes.
All right. Now, when you purchase your firearms or when you obtain your firearms, where is it that you ordinarily get your firearms from?
Various places. I make holsters for a living, so I come across a lot of guns.
You make what for? a living?
Holsters for guns.
Okay. And you said, so you come across a lot of guns?
I do gun shows almost every weekend,
All right. And where do you do your gun shows?
all over the place.
During your gun shows, do you buy guns from people or do you just sell them?
Everything, it changes every day. It's almost like a pawn shop.
Okay. All right. And do you
There's a lot of trading going on, selling, buying, not necessarily just guns, everything.
Okay. Including
Ammo,
your
optics, holsters, bags, everything in the industry.
Okay. Do you have to comply with any federal regulations at those gun shows?
If you buy from an FFL agent, yes. If you buy from a FFL holder, yes.
And what is an FFL holder?
Federal firearms license.
All right. Now, when you say if you buy from an FFL holder, you have to comply with federal regulations. During those
Okay.
exchanges and during those sales and transactions that take place at the gun shows that you attend, are you either
Under the Constitution, you can buy and sell guns. You don't have to have an FFL license.
okay?
Just like if you were my neighbor and I sold you a gun.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that or not.
I do not, because you just told me.
Yeah.
So when you purchase a firearm from someone, is there any kind of record or do you keep any kind of record of the types of
Not
firearms?
unless it's an FFL agent, no. Unless, if it's so in other words, if I go to Academy Sports, there's paperwork filled out.
Okay.
If it's a private sale, no.
Now, have you owned guns all of your life, or at least had
Yes, ma'am.
access to firearms? So safe to say that you're with firearms and how they work.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the types of gun that you've owned, have they all been semi-automatic? Have they sometimes been revolvers, pistols, a whole range of guns?
Yes.
Yes to which question, since I asked the
All of
compound
them.
one? Okay. Have you ever owned an automatic weapon?
No.
Have you ever handled an automatic weapon?
No,
Do you know what an automatic weapon does?
yes,
And how do you know that?
because this is my business.
Fair enough. And so is it safe to say you make it your business to do that type of research, or you've seen it in action?
It's 2024. If you can't see that on YouTube, it's pretty easy.
Okay,
It's very acceptable knowledge. Everybody has it.
all right. And what about the way that a gun is made or transitioned from a semi-automatic to an automatic weapon? Are you familiar with that as well?
No, not how to do it.
Not how to do it?
Mm-mm.
Are
I'm
you
checking out my
familiar with the
YouTube.
mechanism
I'm
that
checking out my
causes
YouTube.
guns to
So I
go
need
from
somebody to
semi-automatic
come
to
over to
automatic?
YouTube real
Which one?
quick. Over to my
Switch.
YouTube real quick
I am familiar with
and
it.
drop a comment.
Have you ever
I'm
purchased
testing my
a
YouTube.
switch?
No.
So come over to YouTube real quick and
I've
drop.
only seen it on TV or YouTube, I would say.
Okay,
So I'm just doing light stuff.
now I'm gonna show you
Good morning.
what we have marked
Good morning.
as
Good
states.
morning. I'm over on YouTube.
51X.
No, okay, it works.
May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you. May I approach you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm practicing my YouTube. Like I'm trying to get
Now,
YouTube.
are you able to recognize
Okay,
the firearm?
so
that
I'm
is in
trying
this
to
box?
switch
Yes, ma'am.
the frame around. so-
And have you ever owned the firearm that is in this box?
According to why I'm here, yes.
Now, would you explain what you mean when you say according to why you're here?
I believe I purchased this off of a law
It looks so
enforcement
funny
agent,
on this.
and then I traded it at some point.
Okay,
What I've been
Oh my God.
told, and I believe when I was talked to about it,
I
yeah.
don't like
and does this appear to be the firearm that you purchased from that?
Not anymore, now with that switch on it.
Okay. Do you see the switch on it that you're talking about?
I do, I know what they are.
Okay.
I've never seen one. I've only seen on YouTube.
All right, point to,
No distractions.
Is it
I'm
okay
doing
if I hold
something
it up
light
there?
right now. I'm
Yes.
I'm
it's locked,
trying to
right?
figure out my
Yes.
it is.
So we all actually go
It's right
over on my
there in the back.
YouTube channel. and I'm
So this little
streaming
part right
them.
here?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And so somehow that makes it, so you just pull the trigger once.
Okay, and what is your understanding of when you say you pull the trigger once, somehow that
It
makes it?
just, it empties it. It just, you don't have to pull it again.
Okay. And given your experience with firearms, is there any particular reason that you've never purchased a switch or utilized?
It's a felony and illegal, be a good reason.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And the last time that you owned this weapon, it did not have that switch attachment on it.
It didn't come from the officer like that, and it didn't leave me like that.
Do you remember what you did? Did you sell it at one of your gun shows?
I really don't. I tried to recall. It was quite a while after. I don't know if I traded it or sold it, or I really don't remember.
Okay.
I probably traded it because you can usually trade in it more value.
And when you say traded it, would it have been at a gun show or at a pawn shop?
Can y'all
No,
see this
at a
box right
gun
here?
show.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, there's not records that are kept of who you would have traded it to.
No, ma'am.
And then once you traded it, you kept no contact with the buyer of the firearm to know what they did.
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Just one second. Now, is it, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let him make that like it should be.
We on YouTube, y'all.
Is it safe to say, or I should ask you, do you even know a person by the name of Shannon Stillwell or Shannon Jackson?
No, ma'am.
Do you even know a person by the name of Diamante Kendrick?
No, ma'am.
Do you know anyone that goes by the name SB?
No, ma'am.
Do you know anyone that goes by the name Yak Gotti?
No, ma'am.
Do you know a Jeffrey Williams?
No, ma'am.
Do you know anyone that goes by Young Thug personally?
No, ma'am.
And is it safe to say you've never had any transactions with either of those people?
Ask that again?
Have you ever had any transactions with either of those
No, ma'am.
people? All right. Thank you so much, sir. That's all I had.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions for this witness? Mr. Weinstein, okay.
All right, y'all. We are actually over on YouTube.
Good morning, Mr. Norton.
Morning.
My name's Doug Weinstein. I represent the Amante Kendrick, who's sitting right over there.
Everybody,
Okay.
make some content.
Just a couple of questions. You said that when you had this firearm, it did not have a switch on it, correct?
Yes, sir.
You don't know who modified it to put that switch on there, do you?
No, sir.
You don't know if my client, Mr. Kendrick, has ever been in possession of this gun, do you?
No, sir.
Okay. You don't know if he's ever fired this gun, do you?
No, sir.
All right, no further questions. Thank you.
Redirect.
Shout out to them.
Just briefly, you were not at
TANLEY.
Okay, can you hear?
Am I Racist is now streaming on Daily Wire Plus.
Powerful. It's clear. DEI certified. I'm here to help.
People are raving.
Retired as of July this year.
And prior to July of this year, well, congratulations, Juan. And prior to July of this year, can you tell the jurors how you were employed or where?
Yes, I was an associate medical examiner with the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office.
And can you tell the jurors how long were you an associate medical examiner with the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office?
I began at Fulton County as a locum tenens or contract medical examiner in March of 2020 and was hired full-time in July of 2022.
And prior to beginning your contract work in March of 2020 with Fulton County, can you tell the jurors, were you employed by other medical examiners, agencies in other counties?
Yes, I was a regional medical examiner with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation from July of 2000 to December of 2019.
Now, can you tell the jurors a little bit about your educational background and training that has allowed you to work as a medical examiner for all these years?
I obtained a Bachelor of Science degree from Emory University, a medical degree from the Medical College of Georgia. I did a one-year internship in internal medicine, also at the Medical College of Georgia. I then completed an anatomic and clinical pathology residency, followed by one-year fellowship in forensic pathology at the Medical University of South Carolina.
And can you tell the jurors, in your number of years working in various medical examiners, agencies or offices, approximately how many autopsies have you performed?
Greater than 3,500.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would tender Dr. Sim Stanley as an expert in forensic pathology.
She is so qualified and may testify as an expert in that field.
Thank you, Judge. Now, Dr. Sim Stanley, can you tell the jurors generally when you are preparing to begin an autopsy, some of the first steps that you take before actually beginning the autopsy?
Yes, every medical examiner's office has a staff of medical examiner investigators. So the coroner, if it's a certain county, or law enforcement will contact the medical examiner's investigators to discuss a death. If that death falls within the jurisdiction of a medical examiner's office, then the case is accepted into that office. Cases which fall under the Georgia Death Investigation Act to be autopsied by medical examiner's offices are unnatural or unexpected deaths, unnatural being homicide, suicide, accident. However, every medical examiner's office gets a fair number of natural deaths, drug-related deaths. It's just that they may be in the unexpected category.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors, while working at the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office, was it a part of the normal procedures and practices for an autopsy to be documented with photographs?
Yes.
And as you do the procedures with the external and internal portions of the autopsy, are you having someone, I guess, take your notes of your findings and conclusions?
I take notes during the autopsy and then dictate the autopsy afterwards to be transcribed.
Okay, and are your findings and conclusions then memorialized in a report?
Yes, they are.
And is that something you did for every autopsy that you performed while working with the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Now, I want to direct your attention to March 17th of 2022. Did you have the occasion to perform an autopsy on a gentleman named Shamel Drinks?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, as it relates to the autopsy of Mr. Drinks, were the policies and procedures that you just described completed? And I mean, were photographs taken and was a report created?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to show you what's been marked as state's exhibits. Mr. Weinstein. I want to show you what's been marked as state's exhibits 126 through 161, and then state exhibit 162, Victor.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Sim Stanley, in your review of state's exhibits, we'll start with 126 DV through 161 DV. Do you recognize the photographs contained in those exhibits?
I do.
And can you tell the jurors how you recognize those photographs?
They are photographs which were taken during the course of the autopsy.
Okay. And are those photographs in state's exhibits 126 DV through 161 DV? Are they fair and accurate copies of the photographs taken during the March 17th, 2022 autopsy of Mr. Drinks?
Yes, sir.
And I want to move to state's exhibit 162 BB. Can you tell the jurors, do you recognize that exhibit?
I do.
And how do you recognize it?
It is a copy of my autopsy report.
Okay. And is